Iran's top leader has issued a stern warning to the United States, stating that any military action against the country could trigger a broader conflict in the region. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei emphasized that such a move would have far-reaching consequences beyond Iran's borders. Any attack against Iran would ignite a regional conflict, Khamenei said, highlighting the potential for escalation. His statement comes amid heightened tensions in the Gulf following recent U.S. statements suggesting military options are being considered if diplomatic efforts fail. Iran has consistently insisted that its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. Officials argue that international concerns over their program are exaggerated and have accused the U.S. of seeking to undermine Tehran's sovereignty. "We will defend our country against any threats, and we advise others to act cautiously," Khamenei added, signaling that Iran views its defensive capabilities as a deterrent against foreign military intervention. The U.S. has increased its naval and air presence in the Gulf, citing concerns over regional security and the protection of commercial shipping routes. American officials have stressed that their actions are precautionary, aimed at deterring potential aggression. While the U.S. has emphasized diplomacy and the possibility of negotiations, the presence of additional forces in the region has been interpreted by Tehran, further heightening concerns of a potential confrontation. Regional allies and neighboring countries are closely monitoring the situation. Many are calling for restraint on all sides, emphasizing the importance of dialogue and negotiation over military escalation. The international community has also urged both Washington and Tehran to pursue diplomatic solutions to reduce tension. Analysts note that Iran's warning is partly aimed at domestic and regional audiences. By framing the situation as one of potential regional instability, Khamenei reinforces the narrative of defending national sovereignty and projecting strength to both local populations and neighboring countries. U.S. officials have reiterated that while all options remain on the table, their preferences for a peaceful resolution through talks. The administration has emphasized that diplomatic channels are still open, but it has also made clear that it will respond decisively if its security concerns are directly threatened. "We are committed to protecting our interests and ensuring the stability of the region," a U.S. official said, echoing long-standing policy statements. The administration has stressed the need for a clear framework to prevent miscalculations that could escalate into broader conflict. Experts note that the Gulf region remains highly sensitive, with complex alliances and competing interests. Any military engagement involving Iran and the United States could potentially affect global oil markets, regional trade, and international security arrangements. Tehran has also been strengthening its military readiness. According to analysts, exercises involving air defense and missile systems have been conducted, showcasing the country's ability to respond to perceived threats. While these drills are officially described as routine, observers see them as part of a broader strategy to signal deterrence to potential adversaries. The diplomatic landscape remains tense, with ongoing negotiations involving multiple stakeholders. Countries across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia are urging both Washington and Tehran to prioritize dialogue and avoid actions that could spiral into conflict. Khamenei's warning reflects long-standing concerns in Iran about foreign intervention. In the past, the country has framed its defense posture as a necessary response to external pressures and perceived threats. Analysts say this approach is intended both to deter military action and to strengthen domestic political support. While tensions remain high, officials from both sides have expressed a willingness to communicate through diplomatic channels. Previous discussions on the nuclear program and regional security have been conducted via intermediaries, highlighting the continued potential for negotiation despite public statements of warning. Observers stress that careful management of rhetoric and military movements will be crucial in the coming weeks. Both Washington and Tehran are aware that any misstep could have disproportionate consequences, making restraint and measured responses essential. In addition to direct diplomatic efforts, international organizations have called for transparency and confidence-building measures. Monitoring programs, verification mechanisms, and open communication channels are cited as tools to reduce misunderstandings and manage risk. Khamenei's statement also comes amid broader regional dynamics, including the strategic interests of neighboring countries. Alliances, economic ties, and historical tensions all contribute to the complexity of the situation, underscoring the potential impact of any conflict beyond the immediate actors. U.S. policymakers face a challenging environment, balancing national security priorities with the need to avoid unnecessary escalation. Military readiness, intelligence gathering, and coordination with allies remain central to their approach, but there is a clear emphasis on exhausting diplomatic avenues first. The global community is watching closely. International markets, particularly energy markets, are sensitive to developments in the Gulf. Even the perception of increased risk can affect oil prices, trade routes, and regional investment decisions, highlighting the broader implications of U.S.-Iran tensions. Regional security experts emphasize that communication and clarity are critical. Misinterpretations, false signals, or accidental incidents could rapidly escalate tensions, making transparent dialogue and international monitoring essential to prevent conflict. Despite the warnings, both sides have indicated that they prefer to avoid direct confrontation. Officials have acknowledged the destructive potential of conflict and have underlined the importance of dialogue and measured policy choices to maintain stability. The situation remains fluid, with developments unfolding daily. While Iran continues to signal its readiness to defend itself, the U.S. maintains that its actions are defensive and precautionary. International observers continue to track movements, statements, and diplomatic initiatives as part of broader efforts to assess risk and predict potential outcomes. "We hope that reason and negotiation prevail over conflict," a senior diplomat said, summarizing the perspective of many in the international community who are seeking a peaceful resolution to tensions. Analysts note that both countries are navigating a delicate balance. Iran seeks to assert sovereignty and deter perceived threats, while the U.S. aims to maintain regional stability and protect its interests and those of its allies. The interplay of these priorities shapes the public statements and military postures of both nations. Economic considerations are also significant. The Gulf region is a hub for global trade and energy exports. Any disruption caused by military escalation could have far-reaching economic consequences, affecting not only regional partners, but also global markets. In addition to military and economic factors, political dimensions play a critical role. Leaders in both countries are under domestic pressure to demonstrate resolve and protect national interests, which can influence public messaging and strategic decisions. International organizations have repeatedly encouraged restraint. Multilateral forums, including the United Nations, have called for transparency, dialogue, and conflict prevention measures to reduce the risk of misunderstanding or accidental escalation. Khamenei's statement also underscores the seriousness with which Iran views potential threats. By framing the situation as one of potential regional instability, the statement serves both as a deterrent and a warning that any attack could have consequences beyond the immediate conflict. Meanwhile, the U.S. continues to monitor regional developments closely. Military assets remain positioned to respond to potential threats, while diplomatic channels remain open. Officials stress that coordination with allies and clear communication are central to avoiding unintended escalation. The public messaging from both countries emphasizes deterrence while leaving room for negotiation. This approach reflects the complexity of the situation, balancing national security, regional stability, and international expectations. As tensions continue, analysts recommend close attention to rhetoric, military movements, and diplomatic engagement. Small incidents or misinterpretations could rapidly escalate in a region with long-standing geopolitical sensitivities. Observers also note that both nations are keenly aware of global scrutiny. Actions taken in the Gulf have immediate regional implications, but they also influence international perceptions, alliances, and economic conditions. Efforts to maintain open channels of communication are ongoing. Previous rounds of indirect talks have shown that even in periods of heightened tension, dialogue remains possible. Maintaining these channels is viewed as essential to managing risks and avoiding miscalculations. Khamenei's statement is consistent with a long-standing Iranian approach, emphasizing deterrence while signaling readiness to defend national interests. For international observers, the statement serves as a reminder of the potential consequences of military action in a region with multiple competing interests. The U.S. response highlights the need for careful calibration. Officials continue to assert that their posture is defensive and precautionary, while also emphasizing the value of diplomacy and multilateral engagement. The global community remains attentive to developments, recognizing that the situation in the Gulf has implications far beyond the immediate region. Energy markets, regional security arrangements, and international diplomatic efforts all intersect with the actions and